introduction, what this person has done is first give us the general opinion, what usually people think. You see, by saying some people argue, and then he or she gives the reason why. Some people think that criminals are the same. Not all of them are the same, and
Somos unos hijos de puta,
it would be more
¿Por qué?
appropriate for them to not be in prison, but to stay in the community and do some community
For
service.
prisons
This
is
is
to
the
keep
general
society
thought.
safe by removing
But
criminals.
what about his or her opinion, personal opinion?
Cabrón.
¿Quién es la dona aquí? I agree that in some cases,
Si tenemos que leer
prison
nosotros, no nos molestamos,
and
¿eh?
community
No.
service would probably have more benefits. So you see what you have to do in the first paragraph? Later I will show you again. In the first paragraph you have to give a general thought, a general opinion, what most people think, and then your own opinion. Okay? First paragraph. So he's saying in some cases prison is not the answer, is not the solution to the problem. Okay? Now, next paragraph, first argument. Ok? Següent paràgraf, la primera raó per pensar que la presó de vegades no és el millor camí. So, for instance, Julia Sanchez, can you read? One justification given for prisons
is to keep society safe by removing criminals from the outside world. So the first thing to consider is if someone who has broken the law is in danger to other people. In the case of violent crime, there is an argument to keep the perpetrator away from society. However,
okay, thank you, Julia. Okay, that's enough. Careful, because here you said
Cafu?
in danger. No, all he's saying is if this criminal is dangerous and they represent a danger for society, then obviously one of the solutions is just to keep them away from us, okay? To keep him locked in a prison so that we have no more danger. So this is what he states. But then he says, you see, in the case of violent crime, if the criminal has been violent, there is an argument to keep them away from society. However, burglary and possession of drugs, for example, does not involve violence against other people. So the criminal does not present a direct danger to anyone in the community. If this is so, if they are not dangerous, keeping these types of criminals in prison is expensive for the taxpayer and thus not an effective punishment, as they often commit the same crime again when they come out of prison. So he gives us the first reason. If the criminal is dangerous, then the best way to stop them committing more crimes is put them in prison. But if they are not dangerous, we will not be helping them if we put them in prison. We should keep them in the community, doing some community service. This is his point, okay? So let's keep on reading. There are more arguments he gives us, right? Okay. Now, Paula Cazón, personally, I also believe...
Paula, pon la sopa en un cazo.
Personally, I also believe
GG.
punishments should reform people so they don't reoffend. A further reason not to put these people in prison is that they may fix with more dangerous and violent crimes, potentially committing a worse crime when they are released.
Okay, so
by keeping them in the community.
Okay, stop. Okay.
Okay, stop.
He's saying punishment should reform people so that they do not reoffend. A further reason not to put these people in prison is that they mix with more...
Se ha sentido mal, ¿lo has visto, Adri?
And that doesn't help, okay? So when they leave prison, when they are released, when they are set free, they commit the same crime again. So sometimes is not the answer. If they are not dangerous, then what we might be doing is making them more violent and more dangerous by mixing them in prison with more dangerous criminals, you see? So the solution, according to the writer, would be keeping them in the community, helping others. They not only learn new skills, but they could also develop more empathy and care towards others. If this occurs, society can only benefit. So the offender benefits and the society benefits if we help them help people, if we allow them to help people. rather than putting them in prison and, socializing with dangerous criminals.
Jojo, mira el chat.
Fourth paragraph. Boy, now let's see.
¿Qué le pasa, tío? ¿Qué le pasa a tú?
Can you read critics of this more rehabilitative approach?
¿Qué está?
Un segundo, voy, que es que he perdido. Espera,
¿Qué dice, tío?
he perdido tu PDF, solo te veo a ti.
¿En serio?
Espera, que lo miro por los.
I el resto?
A la...
La resta que veieu ara, els veieu vosaltres mateixos, però us veieu el PDF?
Sí.
Vale. Ok, pues...
Vale, ya está. Sí, te veo.
Negro, vaya mal,
no
porque
voy a
esto
dejar
ya
de-
me lo pagué.
PDF me refiero.
ya
En la
un
cadena
momento,
yo me
entonces,
lo
ya no
llevé.
puedo volver. Vale, un
Yo no la pagué. Vivo de soldado dates.
moment.
Porque la pagar el juego ya me lo llevé.
Tú quieres una mierda.
Ay,
¿Esto qué es? No, yo no.
Adivinen quién pagó mi chain.
Vale, ya. ¿Lo ves, Carlos? Venga, los que critican
disculpa,
este acercamiento
Opa.
que rehabilita, critics of this more rehabilitative approach to crime.
Disculpa, crack.
Believe that justice should be harsh in order to deter people from committing similar crimes and that community service could be less likely to have that effect. However, there is very little evidence to suggest that long prison sentences deter criminals.
Okay, so all this paragraph is about is he is stating that there are some people who believe that if we are tough with criminals, okay, and we really actually put them in prison, that would prevent other potential criminals from doing a crime, because then that would mean that they would think twice before doing that crime, okay, before committing the crime. So they would think twice and they wouldn't do it in the end. But then he says, you see here, it says, however, there is very little evidence to suggest that long prison sentences deter criminals, so it does not help. In conclusion, last paragraph, putting criminals, mira que fara, ho resumeix tot, molt ben resumit, en 3 línies. Putting criminals who are not a danger to society in prison is expensive and, in my opinion, ineffective, both as a deterrent and as a form of rehabilitation. So what's the solution? Community service. Community service for non-violent crimes benefits both society and the offender himself or herself. That said, it would be useful to have more data to work out whether community service or prison is more likely to stop someone reoffending. I strongly believe that decisions on how best to deal with criminals should be based on evidence of what actually works. Okay? So we need to do some research and see what really worked in the past. Okay? So now you are going to have a look at the PowerPoint presentation. ¿El veieu ara?
Mira lo que pasa, Juanjo.
Bueno, ara que ja ho llegit,
Very little.
però veieu els paràgrafs, no? Vale,
¿Dónde
el
pone
paràgraf
negativo?
que ha fet
¿Qué
la
pasa? Pero a ver si
persona.
tienes el
Veieu
pito
això?
chico.
Some people argue. Vale, so in this paragraph, this is what you were expected to do, okay? First you give me a general opinion.
Adri, pásame el documento tuyo, pero es que no, tío, es que es Adrián Jiménez, tío. ¿Cómo lo has mirado, Adri?
You introduce the topic. I don't want
Espera,
you to
espera.
start your writing by saying something like, I am going to write about, I am going to give my opinion on...
Adri, ¿cómo lo has hecho, tío, para hacerte la cuenta de la Meva Salud?
Espérate, que no escucho qué está diciendo.
Pero Adri, ayúdame, tío.
Some people argue, some people think that, and then you give your personal opinion, right?
Tío, Adri.
To think